Hello and welcome to the show. Finally, we have some good news.
A star is born. Emma Raducanu celebrates her historic win at the US Open.
Emma Raducanu's incredible run to the US Open final made history even before she won.
44 years of waiting, 1 hour 51 on court and one more serve.
She was absolutely brilliant. And I wasn't the only one impressed. Emma Raducanu said it meant everything to get a letter from the Queen.
You totally smashed it, girl. No, Andrew, she doesn't want your number.
Emma did so well, she turned the American audience British. The whole tournament got Brit fever. This lady was even drinking like us.
A few Federer hats. A few Federer here this year. Oh, here we go.
Was she finished? Oh, no.
Oh, no, she was going again.
She also got a letter from the Queen.
Fucking legend.
Do you know what I like most about Emma? How down-to-earth she is.
I didn't expect to be here at all. I mean, I think my flights were booked at the end of qualifying, so it's a nice problem to have.
That would have been the ultimate teenage call home. Just, hello, Mum? Yeah, I'm going to be late. I've won the US Open. Can you leave a key under the mat? But she's amazing. Is there nothing she can't do? Grand Slam champion, A-star student. Next she'll be telling me she's fluent in Mandarin.
我现在特别开心，但是我们赢了，姐姐我爱你。
Tiana Tahoe Shua Shong Wen. She's incredible. Meanwhile, Gavin Williamson, he can't tell the difference between sporting heroes.
Downing Street has defended the Education Secretary, saying he is not racist. It follows criticism of Gavin Williamson after he admitted confusing the England footballer Marcus Rashford with the rugby player Maro Itoje.
What a moron! He's in charge of education. He can't tell the difference between Marcus Rashford and Maro Itoje. They look nothing like each other. Amazingly, he's done this before. This is him and Lady Gaga. Here he is with Take That. And this is the moment he met the Queen. Did you see the Tories covering for him? It was so embarrassing.
Is he racist or incompetent?
You'll forgive him saying, I, again, have probably seen no more of this than what you have seen.
Well,
I
what
know
more
that
do you... He's mixed
explained...
up two prominent English black sportsmen. He's got them the wrong way round. I repeat my question, is this through incompetence or racism? Minister.
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, he's, both. She's less coherent than this lady at 3 in the morning. Sweet Caroline. Oh, no, I've been sick of a letter from the Queen. Williamson is a total disaster. Let's not forget his big idea from summer when he was mocked over One Britain, One Nation song. He wanted every school kid in the country to sing this. Make it fucking stop. Just... What? It's like the chipmunks have joined the National Front.
Alvin, Simon, there's the door.
Why teach kids that? How does that improve education? Also, it's a bit hypocritical of the Tories, isn't it? We shouldn't teach too much black history. We don't want children growing up indoctrinated. Now sing the flag song. And lick the Queen. Lick her. Lick her. It's so pointlessly jingoistic. How long before they're making this CD for nurseries? Fascist nursery rhymes for kids, featuring row, row, row your boat back to where you're from. Bah, bah, black sheep, you don't have no rights. And the classic, Old MacDonald had a gun. Now get off my fucking land. In other news, taxes are going up.
Boris Johnson raised taxes to their highest sustained level in peacetime today to help fund the NHS post-pandemic and overhaul England's social care.
Millions of families will be worse off. So how did the Prime Minister announce this? By putting on a bin liner and painting a cup. There we go. How is he in charge? Look at him. What a fucking mug. Now, predictably, some Tories were vexed.
The public don't like parties that raise taxes.
Very concerned about it.
It's just not right.
The Conservative Party is finished.
Mainly because 2 years ago he said this.
Read my lips, we will not be raising taxes on income or VAT or national insurance.
How were they surprised he lied? He's Boris Johnson. He's a black belt in bullshit. He lied about Brexit.
We got an oven-ready deal.
He lied about the NHS.
We will recruit 50,000 more nurses.
He even lies about his hair.
I can tell you, I do brush it. I have a brush in my office.
What's frustrating, maybe we wouldn't need a tax increase if the government hadn't wasted all of our money. They spent 37 billion on a test and trace system that doesn't work, 150 million on masks that don't fit. I mean, Christ, Downing Street spent nearly 100,000 on 2 paintings. Not only is that a waste of money, they are terrible. Look at this. Looks like Papa Smurf's wank rag. And believe me, I've seen that. Hey, I don't know what you do with your summer. Now, here's the... Doesn't make any sense. But here's the other... Here's the shush. Here's the other one that our government spent money on. Look at that! That's from the exhibition my 4-year-old got my iPhone. We shouldn't have art in Downing Street. We should have stats reminding Boris how many people use food banks, the level of national debt. And if he wants a picture, why not this one of Gavin Williamson meeting Robert De Niro? British politics is so frustrating, but what's going on in America is disgusting. Over in Texas, they've gone back to the Dark Ages.
After almost 50 years, the US Supreme Court appeared to end the constitutional right of American women to have an abortion. The court chose not to strike down a Texas law that effectively banned abortions after 6 weeks, even in the case of rape or incest.
Utterly horrific. Did you see what the guy who wrote the law said?
Not to be arrogant, we believe it's the best heartbeat bill passed in America. We feel good about it.
How can you feel good about forcing a woman to give birth after she's been raped? How can you feel good about Texas offering a $10,000 reward for people who turn in women who want abortions? Who's running Texas? The Taliban? How deeply inhuman is that? But then listen to the way these men describe women.
There's a host body, and that host body has to have a certain amount of rights, because at the end of the day, it is that body that carries this entire other body to term.
She's not a host, she's a woman with a name and a body that is none of your business. It's always men telling women what to do with their body, innit? You don't see women calling the cops because we wank too much. And when you think about it, masturbation kills way more babies than abortions. Like, I don't want to seem callous, but when I was a teenager, ooh, we're talking millions. In fact, the noise that should happen when a man comes is this. It's horrific. And it's not just in America. Look what's happening in Britain. Schools are telling girls to wear shorts under skirts to stop upskirting. Talk about victim blaming. Girls should be free to wear their school uniform without any fear of harassment. There's only one, exactly. There is only one group of people who should be forced to wear shorts under their skirts, and that is Scottish men. Right? True. Nobody wants to see this. Gavin Williamson thought that was Nicola Sturgeon. Join me after the break when I'll be chatting to one of the country's most famous journalists, the fantastic Robert Peston.
I feel it was a sort of Miami Vice look, wasn't it, really? And obviously they were channeling the inner me.
I'd like to see you on the news dressed like you've had a breakdown. Welcome back to the show. My first guest tonight is one of the most respected broadcasters in the country. Robert Peston is one of Britain's most influential and popular journalists. Starting his career in the world of economics before moving into political correspondence, he became notorious for his dry wit.
That word crisis might be an understatement.
Impartial and forthright interview style.
I don't know why you're continuing to treat this as a sort of matter of hilarity.
It's not hilarity, it's worry.
Resulting in his own flagship show for ITV. Now he's exploring the world of fiction with his debut novel, The Whistleblower. Please welcome Robert Peston!
Let's do that. We'll do that. We're still in the grip of it, aren't we?
We are. It's funny, because whenever I see you, I instantly think of COVID. Because I spent 18 months. It's so odd to see you here, because we're used to seeing you like this. That's how we used to...
Oh, my God, yeah. Me at my most lunatic, yep, absolutely.
And then what blew my mind is the other day I was flicking through a newspaper and I saw you like this. I mean, that is an extraordinary look. What was behind that?
The Times very sweetly said they wanted to interview me.
Yeah.
And then they said they wanted to do a photo shoot. So I traipsed down to the studio. They started asking me to put some costumes on. And I...
Hang on,
and they were very... Well, what do you think that is? I don't know. I feel it was a sort of Miami Vice look, wasn't it, really? And obviously they were channeling the inner me.
Well, what I was intrigued, what I thought was that the way you normally dress, and you feel like you have to tone down your magnificence? Because I'd like to see you on the news dressed like you've had a breakdown.
I sort of think that, given the year and a half we've had, I probably do owe the nation that.
I was going to ask, what was it like during the pandemic? Did you feel a kind of a sense of responsibility? Particularly those early days, we were glued to what was going on.
It was certainly the most stressful story I've ever covered.
I bet,
If you're, covering a big event, you do, it is tense, because it was quite easy for people to find me. And, you know, the lots and lots of people were getting in touch about how terrified they were. You know, they were terrified of the illness, understandably. They weren't getting supported by... At that point, it was almost impossible to get any advice from, you know, the NHS, you know, and then there were just an astonishing number of people who couldn't work, couldn't get through to Social Security to get universal credit. You know, they would, you know, there was one guy in particular who sent me an email saying he was going to kill himself because he'd run out of money, he'd run out of food, he'd been on the phone to try and get universal credit for an entire day, nobody had picked it up. And you feel, in those circumstances, a wholly different kind of responsibility for how you normally feel as a journalist. You can't ignore people like that.
Yeah.
So actually what I did, I actually rang up the relevant minister and I just said, look, you know, this person, you know, is in real trouble. And actually, all credit to this minister, she put me in touch with an official. I gave him the number, he gave him the guy's number, and the guy got the money. This was just like one of many stories. All I'm trying to say is, when real people are suffering like this, it does actually bring a degree of... it just raises massively the stakes as a journalist. And I'm not saying, you know, poor me, because let's be absolutely clear, I absolutely adore what I do for a living. And, you know, it was actually a privilege that people wanted to get in touch. And it was a privileged feeling that in some cases I was able to help them. So this is, but it does bring, it means you have to look at every email in your inbox. Yeah. And if one, you know, and of course there are lots of nutters as well as people who really, you know, are telling you something that matters.
Yeah, wow, Jesus, that is some responsibility. And not only were you covering COVID, you managed to write a book. And it's your first work of fiction.
Yeah, it's a thriller, yeah.
What's it about?
So, The Whistleblower is about a very driven journalist in 1997. It's just before the election. His sister dies actually in a bicycle accident. He thinks it's an accident. Then he begins to get information from sources that indicate that maybe she was murdered. And the book is really a thriller about trying to find the guilty individuals who happen to be some very powerful and bad people at the top of politics and business.
There's lots of fascinating sort of parallels between your life and the main character, Gil Peck.
Yes, I mean, what I tried to do with all the characters in the book is write about either people I had observed or things that I'd experienced. And so the central character, Gil Peck, is this journalist, and you know, he in the book is doing a job that actually was pretty similar to the job I did. At that era, and there are certain things about him which are very similar to me. So yes. I was an absolutely obsessive person when it came to pursuing a story. I also, sort of slightly connected to that, is I suffered quite badly from obsessive-compulsive disorder. This, you know, idea. I was constantly, you know, when I was a kid, I was doing things like constantly checking the gas was off, the doors were locked. I'd get up, literally, you know, as a sort of teenager, I'd get up at sort of 4 in the morning and do this. I had a state of sort of high anxiety, and then subsequently just had lots of, when I was anxious, I had lots of sort of rituals, chanting things to sort of calm myself down in a way that actually was quite debilitating in a way.
Yeah.
It stops you getting on with your life in some ways, and he has that. So there are things that are like me, and there are also things that are not me.
Yeah.
Because I imagine you're going to pick up on some of those things.
Well, he's a massive drug hound.
So it is true that he self-medicates with, you know, he's also got ADHD, and he sort of medicates with, you know, cocaine and alcohol, and that isn't me. Although, let's be clear, that is based on, you know, I do know people who were like that then.
Yes.
And again, this is based on stuff that, you know, I very much observed.
And your wife is an author, isn't she?
Yeah, my partner, Charlotte Edwards, she's a journalist. She writes a lot for the Times.
Yeah.
But she's also a brilliant, she's much better writer. She's much more accomplished writer than I am. She's just actually finishing her first novel. And so when it was finished, she was one of the rare people who were allowed to see it. And thank goodness she did, because she was able, you know, so one of the slight problems with writing a book in a hurry is you leave some fairly clunky metaphors in, and so she said, she basically said if I didn't take the various things out, she'd never speak to me again. So...
What kind of things? What were we dealing with?
I described, for some reason or other, I decided to describe this character's nipples. And Charlotte basically said that, you know, if that stayed in the book, I could forget about anybody doing a serious review because all they would write about was this particular hilariously silly description.
So how were you describing the nipples? Like, what we're talking otter's nose?
I have sorry, again?
Otter's nose?
that would have been more creative.
What did you go for?
It was in the territory of, you know, of being like... I'm not easy to embarrass, but I actually...
Yeah, I know.
But, so, no, it was in the territory of fingers. Nipples like fingers.
So, nipples like fingers.
Yeah.
But what I would say, in your defence, if somebody had nipples like fingers, that would be the first thing that you would think of when you describe that person. If you were like, yeah, geez, Jeff looks like he's always out in the cold.
So we're not going to go back and explore where in my past I encountered somebody like that.
Right.
But there was somebody like that many years ago, and I hope to goodness they're not watching this programme.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my guest, the wonderful Robert Peston. Now it's time for the return of Playground Politics. And where else to start by asking the kids about the pandemic? How's COVID been for you? Has it been a strange couple of years? Chill.
Vibes.
Vibes.
Or like cleaning the house.
Yeah.
Or getting the mum stare.
Getting the what?
The mum stare.
Oh, the mum stare.
Yeah.
What's the mum stare?
It's like a face that they make at you when you've done something naughty. Yes.
So what? Can you give me that? What does that look like? Monster. What was homeschooling like?
Oh, it was a nightmare.
Did your parents do the homeschooling?
No, I did it. I feel like I'm extremely clever because, just as a fact, I knew my times tables up to 12 once I came into year 1.
Wow. 7 threes.
21.
That's right.
I didn't think I was going to do maths here.
What was the worst thing about homeschooling?
Well, you can't see your friends or anything.
Oh, no.
Or your teachers.
Was that bad or good?
Bad.
How do you think Boris Johnson's done?
Well, because if he just left it, then thousands more people would have died. Yeah, because, I mean, he is really strong. I mean, he does eat like 100 pancakes in the morning.
I've not heard this. Where did you hear this, that Boris has been eating 100 pancakes? What does he do next?
I guess he just has a big drink.
What's he drinking? What's he washing those pancakes down with?
Wine. Water?
Wine. So hang on a minute.
Wine.
So
why would he drink wine in the morning?
But he might do. He's got the look. And because Boris has got an iron stomach, he might start drinking wine at like 11.
Yeah, because, I mean, he has made a lot of good movies, like Jumanji or... What? Since when has Boris Johnson ever been in Jumanji? He was in the movie.
Hang on a minute. I figured out what's happened here. This makes complete sense now. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, he eats 100 pancakes. And you've confused Boris Johnson with Dwayne Johnson, which is a brilliant thing to have done. I mean, you can see why he made that mistake. Now, my guest on the Spotlight tonight won the BBC New Comedy Award in 2019 and was nominated for the Best Newcomer at the Edinburgh Fringe. Please welcome the brilliant Janine Harouni!
I'm Janine, nice to meet you. It's very nice to be here in this country because I am from a very strange part of the world called Staten Island, New York. If you've never been, some survivors are in. Just to paint you a picture of the kind of people who live there, one time on a bus in Staten Island, I overheard a woman say,
I think the reason that we don't know a lot about Hitler is because nobody knew his last name.
So you can see why I live here now. My parents, they sound just like that. Like, I called home last week, my mom answered, just mid-argument with my father. She was just like, will you stop that now? Oh my God, look what your father is doing. And she turned the laptop around, and my dad just went, what? I'm measuring the dog. And he was just measuring our Jack Russell Terrier. That was thankfully not a euphemism. And I was like, what's up, Dad? Why are you measuring the dog? And he went, this idiot dog is gonna kill himself. And I said, oh, that's not an answer to that question. He said, every time I'm in the backyard, I turn around for 2 seconds, this idiot dog jumps in the pool. He knows he can't swim, he just sinks to the bottom like a stone, staring up at me, blinking. So I'm making him a life jacket. I was like, Jesus, Dad, why do you think the dog is trying to kill himself? And he just went, honestly, I think he knows he's a prisoner here. I'm not sure who's worse, though, my dad or my mom, because my mom doesn't like the word vagina. So my whole life growing up, she called it a Lulu, which was very confusing for me when I met my cousin, Lulu, who coincidentally is a cunt. I love my mom and dad, but we're very different people. They're very conservative, very Catholic. Once when I was 12 years old, my dad wrote a letter to the editor of our local paper. And in it, he said he thought that gay people should have the right to civil union, but that marriage is a term that can only be used to describe the union of a man and a woman. And they published it. And what my dad failed to realize was not everybody who reads our local paper would agree with his beliefs, and our address was real easy to find on the internet. Because for months afterwards, my father was unwittingly subscribed to dozens and dozens of gay porn magazines. And you have never seen a man more uncomfortable than my 6'4" father on the phone like, my name is Joe Harouni, and I would like to cancel my subscription to Long Schlong magazine. It was actually a genius plan because by the end of a year, we had like 50 or 60 magazines sent to the house, and my father became so obsessed with finding the culprit that he kept all the porn in a box he unironically labeled hard evidence. But even though Staten Island in general is a very Catholic conservative place, not everybody thinks that way. And a few of my friends actually found it pretty easy to come out to their parents. Like, when my best friend Josh was 5 years old, his mom and dad took him to see The Wizard of Oz on Broadway. And in the middle of the play, he just stood up and screamed to the front of the stage, "You leave Dorothy alone, you wicked old witch." And his mom was like, oh, he's gay, okay. I told Josh's mom I'd been telling that story on stage. She's always smoking a cigarette, and she just went, please, Josh was so gay, we had to come out to him. But like I said, my parents are very Catholic, very conservative. I mean, they're so Catholic, their actual names are Mary and Joseph, so that's the level we're dealing with. And the big argument we keep having is about my boyfriend, Andrew, because we live together, but we're not married. And when my mom found out, she said, I don't like the idea of you and Andrew having sex outside of marriage. And I just had to explain to her, Ma, we're in a committed long-term relationship. We're not having sex anymore. Because it's tough when you're in a long-term relationship to keep that spark alive, you know? In the beginning, it's easy. I remember one time at the start, Andrew was like, come on, let's go. And I was like, oh, I'm actually on my period. You'd probably just think it was gross. And he looked at me and he said, Janine, I love you. I'd have sex with you if you had blood coming out of your ears. And I just thought, you are no longer my emergency contact. No. Because I don't need my boyfriend turning up to the scene of an accident and they're like, we're so sorry, sir, there's nothing we could do. And he's like, I can think of something. To be fair to my dad, his views have changed throughout the years. Josh recently got engaged to his fiancée, Sean, and they asked me to officiate the wedding. And one day the boys were at my house and we were going over wedding plans. And my dad came downstairs and he said, Josh, I just want to say congratulations. I'm very happy you found somebody as wonderful as Sean to spend the rest of your life with. And if you boys come this way, I believe I have some magazines you may be interested in. You guys have been absolutely lovely. I've been Janine Harouni. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Janine Harouni! Join me after a break when I'll be chatting to the wonderful Paul Chowdhry! I want to say, hey, man, what's Rome like? And you were not impressed.
Rome was a shithole.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome back to the final part of the show. My next guest is a phenomenal comedian who sold out Wembley.
Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters.
Paul Chowdhry is one of the most highly regarded comedians on the circuit. In 2019, he releases Amazon special Live In It.
If someone's got depression within the Indian community, we just get rid of them.
And recently, he's had high-profile acting gigs in Sky Atlantic's Devils and the hit Disney film Cruella. Now he's back on tour with his new show, Family Friendly Comedian. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, the wonderful Paul Chowdhry! How you doing, mate?
How's it going, Russ?
I tell you what, you look great.
Thanks, man. Things have changed.
Now, we were chatting about Gavin Williamson earlier, and we've actually... Do you want to explain this?
Yeah, I actually won an award at the Houses of Parliament for Best Comedian. He actually thinks I'm Nish Kumar.
Yeah. So you're back on tour?
Yeah, back on tour because...
And with the title of your show, Family Friendly Comedian.
Well, you know my act.
Yeah.
I've
Have
always
you changed?
tried... Yeah, I want to become like Ant and Dec. Well, the one that doesn't drink and drive.
Yeah.
The other one.
So you're going mainstream?
Yeah, I want to become like, you know, you white guys. I don't like this controversial label anymore, so I've called it family-friendly comedian, so I can appeal. A lot of my family do bring their children to my shows.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not call it family-friendly comedian? No children allowed.
So there's no children allowed?
No.
Nice. I got to respect that.
Look what happened to Michael Jackson.
That is true. Would you have hung out with Jacko? I reckon you would have done.
I probably would have.
I would have done. My mum would never let me, but I'd have tried.
Hey, with the kids.
Don't do that again, mate. That freaked me out. So please, that was horrible, Paul.
You like, Russell,
No,
you like kids?
I don't. Is it nice to be performing again, though?
Yeah, it's good to be back out there.
Oh, my God, you did some weird gigs.
Look, I get a lot of gigs, man, and over lockdown, I got asked to perform in someone's house.
And how did the gig go?
Gig was great, you know.
How many were there?
Literally about 30 members of the same family. By the way, it's an Indian family, not a white family.
So, and were you, like, in the front room?
So I got to the house. It's in Leamington Spa.
Oh, I used to live in Leamington.
You lived in Leamington
Yeah,
Spa?
I lived there when my wife was training to be a doctor.
Yeah, real shithole.
It's a really nice place. It's really nice, you maniac. This is what you do all the time. But yeah, it's a shithole, yeah. So go on, so you get to the house.
Get to the house, and I'm like, all right, it's going to be some fat yard rude boy.
Go again?
Some fat yard rude boy.
Gotcha.
And I thought it's going to be some big house. It was like a normal semi-detached house.
Please tell me your opening line is, this is a shithole.
In their house. I'm like, and I get there, and I was wearing my shoes.
Can you take your shoes off, please?
Because when you come in the house, no shoes. So I'm thinking, am I at the right house? And then they take me, they said, you're the surprise for the guy's birthday, the husband and wife. You're performing in the living room. And then they chuck me out into the living room. There's the grandparents, the kids, you know,
Hang on,
parents.
are you holding your shoes at this point?
I'm holding my shoes. And I walk out, and I thought there's going to be a stage. I'm performing in front of the TV. With ZTV on in the background, which is the Indian station. So they're saying, get out of the way, we can't see TV.
So you were sort of zigzagging?
Yeah, I'm trying to move out of the way of the and it's got some Maplin microphone with, you know, those little karaoke speakers.
Yeah, did you really? Oh, nice.
So I started just rinsing the family.
How long for?
What you booked me for, you bastards? And then one of the little girls sat on her dad's lap saying, Daddy, why are he making fun of you? I said, because your dad's a wanker. He was a wanker, in fairness. And then said, oh, make fun of our uncle. He looks like George Michael. He looks like George Michael if we dug him up today.
How did that go down with the 7-year-old, was she?
Cost me a pair of shoes.
But what's fascinating about you is I don't know where your happy place is. Because, and the reason I say this is because... I'll explain this. Paul was lucky enough to be in Rome. You were filming, and we spoke on the phone a few times because we're, you know, believe it or not, we're actually good mates. And I would say, hey, man, what's Rome like? And you were not impressed.
Rome was a shithole.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember I was just crying because I was like the Colosseum. Have you been there? Shithole. Like, I remember you saying to me, it doesn't have a shopping centre. Like...
Rome doesn't have shit. It's all ruins and shit. It's all busted. Why are they going to refurbish that shithole?
It really got me. It was so funny. There was nothing about Rome that you found endearing.
The Pope. He likes kids.
Now, you're also in a Disney film this summer, Cruella, with Emma Stone.
Yeah, I am.
What role were you playing?
I'm the Indian guy.
When you started doing acting, I was like, I knew you'd be good, but I was slightly surprised because I thought if you're going to do anything, I would have been certain it would have been pornography.
You don't really get Indian porn stars, though. So.
Well, you could do. I mean... Hang on, was that from that fucking gig in the room? That looks like you're in their front room. They're like...
That was me in front of the TV.
Yeah, exactly. We said, take your shoes off, you maniac. But what's going on there? You look fantastic.
Thanks, man.
Why did you take that photo?
Took it for the women.
It works, though, eh? It looks, yeah.
Well, one woman.
What's next on the horizon?
Back on tour, start next month. It went on sale on Friday. It sold out within 3 or 4 seconds. Literally 3 to 4 seconds.
Yeah.
It was the fastest selling tour of that day.
Yeah. And what's the big gig?
So today we've added another Apollo date.
Hey, nice.
Because it's completely ram out.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? So across the country, family friendly, bring your children.
Don't bring your children.
But unfortunately, when my tickets go on sale, they end up on ticket touting sites, such as Viagogo and other such sites. And I don't like that, because they sell them at like £500 each.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And that's not what I want in my shows. I want to appeal to all these dirty bastards. So when they come to my show, I'm looking at the front row and I'm like, how much you paid? What? You paid £500 for a ticket, £1,000 for 2 tickets. Come and see me, I'll do you a deal. So no, I don't want these ticket touting sites. What camera are we on? Can I speak to the camera?
If you want.
Which camera are we on?
Do that one there. Which
one?
one's, is it that one?
That camera, yeah?
Yeah.
OK, so listen. Listen, camera, whichever camera I'm on, if you're the owner of one of these sites and you're selling my tickets at £500 each, I challenge you to a boxing fight. I challenge you. And I want to say this publicly. We'll do this for money. And all of my proceeds, I don't care what people... I'm going to donate all of my proceeds to my bank account.
It's like you became Jake Paul.
If Jake Paul's watching...
Ladies and gentlemen, please give up for my guest, the fantastic Mr. Paul Chowdhry. Finally tonight, it's Good Deeds. And in a week where we've seen a brilliant young woman persevere and triumph, here's an amazing 7-year-old girl who's doing the same.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I ran a marathon in 26 days to buy a laser machine to help children in the Children's Hospital.
Elizabeth was born in December 2013. We had 2 boys, 2 girls, the dream.
We were living in Qatar in the Middle East. When she was 6 months old, air conditioning unit in her bedroom went on fire and set fire to the room, to her cot, to her, and she was very severely burned. We were lucky that we got her to Birmingham Children's Hospital.
We looked after her during the acute stage when she was very sick. There's lots of moments, actually, when she was just about not to be with us.
I don't remember anything. I still go to the hospital a lot.
She went through a huge amount of reconstructive surgeries. In total, 74 procedures.
Elizabeth's skin doesn't grow with her, so that's why she has to have so much surgery. This laser machine will reduce the amount of surgery that children like Elizabeth will have to have.
The hospital couldn't afford the machine. I thought that I could try to buy it for them. I'm going to run 1 mile every day until it makes a marathon.
Right, what mile are you on?
1.
Good luck. Go.
Mile 2, wish me luck.
Go. Well done.
I got tired and it was very hard. I was quarantined 2 times and I had to run 73 laps around my garden.
I thought it was a truly amazing challenge. I was out of breath, she wasn't. She's a gold medal winner in my eyes.
I saw her cross that finish line, and you see just what an impact she has on people.
I'm not at the target yet.
It's £130,000 about for one of these machines, so we're going to keep going till we get there.
You can donate for the machine on our Just Giving page. I'd like to say thank you for donating to me.
What an amazing human being. Now also, because Elizabeth is doing so much for other people, I thought it would be cool to do something for her. Now, she told us she's a massive Formula 1 fan, so I arranged a couple of surprises for her.
When I grow up, I'd like to be a Formula 1 driver.
Hey Elizabeth, what's going on? Daniel here. I wanted to say you are awesome and you're amazing and you're doing a wonderful thing, so keep it up.
Elizabeth, I think if this is for you. Want to have open it and see what it is? It's like you go and get to use a go-kart.
Yay! Can we go today? I had a brilliant time. Thank you, Russell.
There you go. Amazing. If you've got some money and you'd like to donate, then please do. Thanks so much for watching the show. Good night, my friends. Good night.